Chibai, Kamingchu Pu Mohanty, Professor and Head, Department of Sociology. Today I am going to talk on the theories of punishment and correctional methods. This relates to a branch of knowledge now popular as penology. Penology means the scientific study of punishment, a branch under criminology, the study of crime in society. This topic is very interesting. When I want to deliver a lecture on this, I not only want to make my students of the fourth semester examination ready in this difficult hour, but also I can generate some interest in the public because this relates to the fact as to how the crime is dealt in the society. I would divide my lecture to two important heads. First, the concepts. There are two concepts. One, punishment. Two, correction or correctional method. Second, the theories of correction or punishment as to how crime is dealt in the society. What is punishment? Punishment refers to the inflicting of any pain or unpleasant stimuli on the offender who attempts or who is likely to attempt violation of the criminal law of the land. In fact, the state is authorized to grant punishment. Who grants this punishment? There is an agency called criminal justice system. Criminal justice system comprises of three elements. One, the police, who maintains law and order, investigates the case, and facilitates the prosecution of the case. Second is the correction, that is a new terminology for the prison or the jail that we called earlier. And the last one is the judiciary, which interprets the law, though not the least. And correction is a new nomenclature, new terminology today, because the word punishment is very much stigmatized, and people under the human rights regime do not accept the term punishment, because a crime is committed by a person or a group of people under certain circumstances where they should be dealt empathetically, sympathetically, and more so as human beings. So therefore, the idea under the criminal justice system is not only to punish the crime or the criminal, but also it is to be seen if at all such person, how he has committed the crime, what are the circumstances that led to the commission of the crime? Was there any circumstantial compulsion in that? Can the person be brought to the mainstream? Can his dead past be forgotten? So, therefore, this idea of correction now has come into being instead of the term punishment that we tried to use. In fact, the punishment is an instrument of public justice, and correction is basically one human type of issue. When we think about the punishment or the corrections, then we keep three categories of people in mind. One is the potential offender, two, the offender as such, and third is the repeat offender. So potential offender is the person who is likely to commit some offense, and therefore a different type of treatment is meted out to such person who is under the likelihood of committing any sort of crime. Then offender as such is the person who has committed a crime and has been brought to book. When you talk about the offender as such, we must keep one thing in mind, that a person might have committed a minor crime, a grave crime, or a rarest of the rare crime. But the law of the land suggests that nobody is guilty unless proven guilty. So if the prosecution proves that somebody has committed the crime, then the punishment is due and given as per the law. And therefore, treatment to such categories of people also vary, and they have been theorized accordingly. The last element in this lecture is the type of criminal who is called a repeat offender or a recidivist, as the term used in criminology. They were earlier called habitual offenders who have the tendency to relapse to crime. So correction in that sense rather than the punishment helps them a lot to be brought to mainstream, and as such they do not relapse into crime or do not come forward to repeat their type of offenses. So this is how I clarify the two concepts. The first concept is punishment and the second concept is called correction. Now coming to the theories of correction or theories of punishment. There are four theories of punishment under which the criminal justice or a correctional system is being implemented, and this is how the criminal is brought to book. So the first theory in this regard is called the deterrence theory. The second theory is the theory of restoration, and the third theory is the theory of restorative justice, retributive justice, and the last one is the reformative justice. So, four: one, deterrence; two, restoration; three, retribution; and the last one is reform. All these are not only the theories of punishment or theories of correction, but also from the very terminologies themselves, you can really understand and appreciate as to what is the meaning, necessity, and the importance of corrections under criminal justice system. Punishment is given to book the crime, but sometimes some people escape the clutches of law. Some people prepare themselves to commit the crime. Some people are in the habit of relapsing into the crime. So, since all these varieties are there, therefore, the corrections have been, or the theories have been decided, and theories have been engaged accordingly. The first thing first, what is deterrence? Deterrence theory basically suggests that it is a process by which the potential criminal is discouraged not to commit the type of crime for which he is otherwise getting ready and trying to prepare himself to commit this crime. And therefore, what is the importance of deterrence? The importance of deterrence is basically this, that this is a method which is proactive in nature, and it always targets the potential offenders, and this leaves one message that no society tolerates crime. One can prepare for conformity but not for deviance. If deviance is to be found, then it is to be dealt with stringent punishment. So, in deterrence, what basically works is the fear of punishment. It is because of the fear of punishment, therefore, the potential criminals, they try to stay away from each other. There are two types of deterrence. The one is called general deterrence, another is called specific deterrence. What is general deterrence? General deterrence basically means that it is oriented to fuse into the general masses and the public so that they do not come forward towards the commission of the crime. They do not attempt any crime because of the fear of the punishment and the sword over their head. What are the examples of general deterrence? COVID-19, promulgation of 144 is one example of general deterrence, that 5 people cannot congregate at one place, they cannot come out, and there is a curfew type of situation where you cannot come out of the house, and if you come out from the house, then you see the power of the stick of the police, as you have seen in several instances that are there currently available in social media. What is specific deterrence? Specific deterrence is such that the spread effect flows from the individual. If one individual who has committed the crime, if dealt severely, then a message goes through him, through his associates, to his community, that the power of law is very strong, and anything therefore can happen, so that the particular person will not enter into the crime. If at all he has the past record of committing crime, he will not venture to repeat this particular crime. This is what is known as the deterrence effect. Then comes the idea of what you call the restorative justice. What is restorative justice? This type of justice system, punishment, otherwise you may call it reparatory justice. That is, it is more victim-centric, which takes care of the needs and the sufferings of the victim. So, every criminal targets a victim, and a victim has a lot of suffering. Now, today, we have greater emphasis on victimology of the crime rather than the crime as such, which was not there earlier. So, what happens under this type of reparatory justice or restorative justice? You try to compensate, you try to give them back, you try to see to it that their sufferings are duly compensated and their needs are properly addressed. In this type of situation, what happens that undue litigation about a particular case can be really avoided, and there can be a mutual dialogue between two parties. Who are the two parties? Two parties. The first party is the prosecution who prosecutes the case, and the second party is the person who tries to defend the case on behalf of the criminal. So, the court, under such circumstances, seeing the gravity of the situation, seeing the need of the hour, taking the time into account, they try to reach one out of court settlement. So, under such circumstances, what happens? If at all somebody has committed a crime, maybe stealing, thieving, then he may return the property to the victim. Similarly, if at all there is outraging of modesty or chastity of a girl is tempered, then under such circumstances that boy can be allowed to marry that particular girl, or certain type of compensations that can otherwise also be given in these types of situation. So therefore, deterrence is something which is proactive in this sense, it prevents the commission of the crime, and as such it is proactive and targeting the potential offenders who do not attempt or try to venture into this type of situation. On the other hand, the second one that I am trying to talk about is called a restoratory. This is a different type of justice system or correctional method where certain compensation is given and litigation is brought to the minimum, where there can be a dialogue between both the parties entering. That means one who has committed the crime, called perpetrator, and one who has suffered the crime, called the victim. Now let us come to the third theory. That theory is something very important, and if at all criminal justice system or the type of punishment we are talking about, this is the oldest type of punishment called retribution, incarceration. Retribution is a type of justice system which is otherwise known as the adversarial system of justice. What is adversarial system of justice? Adversarial system of justice basically means that there are these two parties have their counsel on their behalf who fight and stake their claim before a jury or a single judge, so that prosecution says that the person is guilty, defendant says that I am innocent. But retribution basically suggests that crime is never tolerated by the society. The type of harm caused to the community cannot otherwise be compensated without granting proportionate punishment to the offender. So therefore, retribution is not only adversarial in nature, but also it suggests that no crime goes unpunished. What does it basically mean? This basically means that adversarial justice is carried forward, then no crime goes unpunished. And punishment depends on the type of crime committed. What is the type of crime committed? If at all it is a minor crime, maybe theft, then the punishment is 3 years prison term. If at all it is a graver crime and called rape, murder, then under such circumstances the life term may be extended. The prison term may be extended to from 7 to 10 years or extending to life. But if it is a rarest of the rare type of crime, then punishment is most severe. So therefore, when we talk about retribution, then probably or basically 3 prominent characteristics must be satisfied. The first characteristic is called severity. The second characteristic is called certainty. And third characteristic under retribution is called severity. What is severity? Severity basically means the graver is the crime, the stronger is the rate of punishment as it is prescribed under the law of the land. Every crime has its own punishment mechanism. Then what is certainty? Certainty basically means that if at all a crime has been committed, then this must not go unpunished. It must be given punishment. Then what is the last characteristic? Last characteristic is called severity. Severity basically means the legal process must be smooth and efficient, smart, so that there is no undue judicial delay and victim is not allowed to wait longer than the type of longer than the quantum of time required for the purpose. So therefore, when we talk about retribution, when you talk about severity, certainty or severity, we keep 2 things in mind. That is, what is the quantum of harmed, who is the offender, what was the mens rea, content, criminal intent in his mind, and how much is the satisfaction that particular criminal has derived by committing that particular type of crime. So accordingly, the punishment must be such that it must commensurate with the quantum of satisfaction derived by the particular offender. This particular retribution is also found in our Bible, Exodus 21:23 to 21:27, which says, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Isn't it? Under such circumstances, retribution as a punishment mechanism works. The last one is reformative theory of justice. This is based on humanistic principle. There are several factors and circumstances under which a particular offender commits the crime. So therefore, the idea of reform is to ameliorate the previous condition of the criminal. What is the humanitarian justice here? Gandhi said, hate the crime, not the criminal. So therefore, there are two methods of this reform. One is called probation as a type of reform measure by correctional administration, and the other is called parole. What is probation? Probation is really the suspension of the sentence. And suspension of sentence means before he goes to the prison, if at all it is considered that circumstance is so necessary that there can be a relaxation and his prison term can be suspended, and this is decided by the court of law, and such person remains under the perfect supervision of a probation officer appointed by the particular state government. Then what is parole? Parole is a condition of temporary release of the offender from the prison term in case of urgency of necessities, 7 days, 15 days, 1 month. Maybe a marriage occasion has occurred, or ritual practices are to be performed in the family, or there are festive occasions or death occasions. Under such circumstances, the criminal justice administration themselves, without taking the matter to the court of law, the correctional administration can decide and leave the person as a parolee. So this is what basically I tried to tell you. To summarize, what I said is this, that I first of all tried to tell you about the two concepts. What is the meaning of punishment? What is the meaning of correction? And then I came forward to 4 theories. One is called deterrence, another is called reformative, another is called restorative justice, and the last one is called reformative justice. Deterrence, restoration, retribution, and reform. Thank you. Enjoy.